Welcome back to the Bad Blood Podcast, everybody. Today we've got a belter guest, Dean Lynch Ward. Just like to introduce a couple of sponsors, Mr. Bloom's Backseat Oil Mechanics, Looking Sharp Barbers, and also Fearless Fitness. Big shout out to Safe as well for all you fighters out there. Daz Wilson is your man if you're suffering with mental health problems. Give Daz a hit up on his page. He will sort your problems out. Dean, how are you, my man?
I'm okay, man. How's things? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. Obviously,
good.
The storm, it's settled. Because, in fact, I'll rewind the clock. How was 3D Fight Club brought about? How did you go about bringing it up?
So basically what happened, we got a phone call off Decker a while ago, as you know. And I don't want to touch on it too much, obviously, because I don't want it to contaminate the platform. But bottom line, he come to us, asked us to arrange a straightener for him. Obviously, that's what we do as travellers, don't we?
Yeah.
You know, we arrange straighteners. Well, everyone does it, so, but not just us. We arranged this straightener, and then, obviously, after we arranged it straightener, we got the views on it went live. It got so many views, and it just basically went from there. But me and Dougie was talking about doing the bare knuckle boxing promotion months and months before that, and that was the reason why Decker had come to us and asked us to arrange that fight.
Okay.
Now what we done, we went on his live before. Obviously, we got the full ins and outs, fully of what kind of happened. Mm-hmm. And someone recommended it in the comments, 3D Fight Club, and we thought, well, because it was a 3Ds, Dean, Decker, and Duggar. But basically, what happened, we just kept it as 3D Fight Club. Do you know what I mean? Kept the name from it, obviously. People said, oh, we muscled Decker in and Decker. No. What you got to remember is Decker lived off the back of our name for the start. 3D Fight Club come about. So when 3D Fight Club's come about now, it's come off the back of Decker's name, yeah? With Decker, so people were saying, oh, we lived off the back of Decker's name. Hold on a minute. Decker come to us to sort out his straightener because he was too scared to fight the man in his own back garden.
He did.
That's
correct.
He came to us.
He did.
You know
he did. Sorry to interrupt you, Dean, because we knew the situation beforehand anyway. Do you know what I mean? Us as a podcast.
Yeah.
And we knew, like, he definitely did make first contact with yourselves. We knew that.
Oh, 100%. But what you got to remember is what he was hoping for. He was hoping for Danny to come down with Paul. Mm-hmm. And what he was hoping for us to put it on Danny, for Danny to feel intimidated. Now, at that time, we didn't know Danny. Obviously, we knew of Danny. But what you got to remember is a fair fight's a fair fight. Do you understand what I mean? So, like when Danny come there, there was a few guys in there. There was me and my cousin, but the guys who owned the gym. So there was people there, but it was all neutral people. Mm-hmm. Now, what Decker didn't realise is when he was coming down, a fight's fair. I'd expect the same treatment if I went up to Carlisle. You know, a fair fight's a fair fight. Yeah. Decker didn't expect that. He expected us to side with him and intimidate Danny. You could see the reaction in his face, and I said, nah, a fair fight's a fair fight. When Danny come in there, Danny would say, I shook his hand as he walked in to let him know, neutral ground there, one of them. And that's our 3D Fight Club. And that's where it kind of stemmed from, to be fair. And then obviously there was going to be the rematch with Danny and Decker, and it was going back and forth. And then obviously more along the lines, as we've moved forward, the more I got to know Danny and speaking with Danny, you kind of, he's always, you always know the fake from the real, don't you?
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
There's no fakeness in Danny.
Now, after knowing Danny and knowing Decker, if you sit me both in a room, I could look at one and look at the other and automatically know. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. You know a narcissist from a non-narcissist, don't you? It's as simple as that. Do. So that's kind of where 3D Fight Club stemmed from. Then obviously we put our own little team together and we started marketing it first, as you've probably seen on the. Well, this is my new Instagram that I've got now, the old Instagram. I marketed it a lot on that one before it got hacked, and we was marketing it just to see what the response we was getting. Mm-hmm. And as we're marketing just 3D Fight Club, we're getting fighters coming in. Now, obviously, me being an ex-fighter, I'm vetting these fighters that are coming in at the same time. And then obviously we've got a couple of YouTuber fighters on there. So what we said is we put the platforms for any beef. You don't have to be a YouTuber. You don't have to be a fighter. You can be a street kid. It doesn't matter. The platform's there for you. We've had guys message us and they've basically said, look, this guy's been bullying me. He's a big 17 stone instead of I'm 13 stone. Can I fight him on your platform? Not a problem. The platform, that's what the platform's there for. And if you look at a lot of the BKB organisations, the platform's only there for fighters. Mm-hmm. So what we're saying is, if you want to act like a fighter, jump on a platform and be a fighter. It's not a problem.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
100%. Because, like, obviously, what happened at the press conference went brilliant. Just afterwards, In the fight game, this is what I've tried to elaborate
This
to
what
many
happens.
people. This is what happens. You've had, just to bring it closer to home, you've had the Derek Chisora, David Hay. You've had the Sugar Shane Mosley, Ricardo Mayorga. You've
had Conor McGregor, Nick Diaz.
It happens. It happens.
Do you know what you got to remember, right? Now, I'll tell you how it stems. So, going back to the conference, because there's a lot of people at work now that are just seeing what's been uploaded and what was on there.
Mm-hmm.
For in a minute, Earthworm walks in. We know we're on about the fucking mad ass, right? I don't know why he's whinging so much, because if he uses his brain, he's just sold the fight, made the fight more bigger, made his worth go up, and now he's got a feel for what it's about. This is the fight game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, any normal guy going into a bare knuckle fight, how I'd look at it, and I'm not saying it being the next fighter, but going into a bare knuckle fight, I'd look at it like, well, I've gone there now and he stole it on me. I'm coming for you, but he should be saying to me, he shouldn't be going on making videos for sympathy, and he's like he wants to be centre of attention on the internet. Man up, mate. You got it on the chin. And what? You know what I mean? You're going in a bare knuckle fight in a 12-foot ring. Well, you got to remember, he put all that energy out. If he's done a video before he's come, I might fucking go up there and let's see what energy Ditchy puts out. I might jump over and punch his head and let's see what these fucking dicks are saying and all that. What you've got to remember is there at the same time, you're putting that energy out. Now, when he came up there, him and Ben Hatchett had an altercation. He put it on Ben put it on him. I split him up. They've had the back and forth with Ditchy. Now, I don't condone him getting banged off Ditchy or Ben Hatchett. I didn't condone him getting punched off Ben at the start. But when I stood up to the chair, Ben was looking at me saying, Dean, he said this, he said that. And the exact words I whispered to Ben's ear, I don't mind the verbal, do not put your hands on him. That's what I said to him in his ear. I said, don't mind the verbal, don't put your hands on him. Yeah, because obviously it's not right. When he's gone over there, he's had the cheek to throw it on Ben Hatchett again. That's why it looks like Ben walked over and chinned him. Ben's walked over there to say, oh, bruv, why did you say that about me, unborn child? And he said something again, and that's when Ben's reacted and punched him. No, I'm not sticking up for Ben because I still think it's wrong. It's at a conference. He shouldn't have walked over to him full stop. I'm not sticking up for him at all. But that's how it's made it look. And he got suckered and one on the chin. Now, for me, if I'm Lazar, my issue is Ditchy, because Ditchy, obviously, he's come out, he's owned it. He said, look, I've done it. It was wrong. But it's at a press conference, mate. You're fighting the man. So there's going to be a bit of push and a bit of argy-bargy here and there. At the end of the day, look, the way you got to look at it is when he's come there now, after that's happened, I've made sure he's safe. If you watch the cameras, I've got loaded. I've grabbed hold of him. I've put guys there. No one gets near him. He's safe. Then the minute he's leaving, I'm going to go through their doors. The game's changed. We're going down a different route. So now he's come up here as a fighter. He's gone back to London as a roadman. And then when he gets down there and his flat has become a policeman, it's not going to, but then he's coming out saying, he's going to blackmail him for money and stuff on his live. And I'm saying, mate, realistically, look, from a business point of view, you're not going to take 3D Fight Club to the cleaners, right? It's never going to happen because at the end of the day, you've come to our event off your own accord. No one asked you to turn up. No one forced you to come. And no one asked you to come with an attitude. And let me just make one thing clear as well. He was 5-man deep. Ben Hatchett came on his own, but it looked like Ben Hatchett had numbers because everyone in there knew Ben Hatchett from previous bare knuckle fighting and everything else. That's exactly what happened. Yeah, Liam Ditchy only came there with Liam Ditchy come with 3 guys. 3 guys, that's it. Just 3, just not no bad boys, just 3 normal guys. He come 5 deep and had one guy fucking with his ballad up walking through and everything else. And I'm saying that, and you want to run back to London crying as if you got sucker punched. Get a grip, you daft cunt. What? But don't get me wrong, there's an open book for him. If he wants to take the fight, we've got Roma Security, Alfie Ward and his nephew, and they're doing the security on the event. Obviously, we've got a press conference and still to come. We've got the weigh-in. We've got everything. It is a proper platform, but everyone's just looking at that and the little screen. Listen, we've got it sewn up to a T. Now, we're not going to invest all that time to set Lazar up. He's not big enough for 3D Fight Club to set up. It's not as if it's Mike Tyson. Do you understand what I mean?
That's what I was going to elaborate on, because people saying that it's a setup. No way. You do not have the time when you're a fight promoter. You do not have time to set these little shitty side things up. You're more focused on getting that show's logistics up and running. 100%.
How you've got to look at it. What is 3D Fight Club going to benefit, right? Because listen, the views off him and Liam Ditchy was about 80%. But now after that's happened, if he takes a fight, his pace has doubled and the views go up to about 120%. Right, in views, you know what I mean? So basically what I'm saying is the views are going to double or quadruple. So why am I going to set him up with Ben Hatchett? If he was going to get set up with anyone, it would have been Liam. Give him a bit of a shove or something in the face off, just sell the fight.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sabotage that for 3D
Your hard
Fight
work.
Club. Yeah, my hard work. Do you know how long it took me to get that shit house to come out of London? Do you understand what I mean? Look, you know, I don't think you know how long it took me to get him to come out of London. Do you know what I mean? Look, realistically, look, he's gone back and he's doing his lives and he's been calling me, and calling Dougie. That's fine. All promoters get called names. We're in it as a business. We make money, he can make money. If he uses his head, we can have a journey planned out for him. We can have Liam Ditchy, 3D Fight Club 1, Ben Hatchett, 3D Fight Club 2. He's going to earn more money off that than he is on his YouTube channel in the next 2 years, if not longer.
100%, because that's why when he was coming back and making these videos, that's me done, I'm not fighting. I was thinking, but a fighting man, like, did you see Paul Venice and Ditchy go live?
No, I've not seen it. No, I didn't watch it. No,
because Ditchy's excuse is he went down there with like he's not used to going down to the venue with that fight, as like he's more street. Like,
you know what?
That's his excuse.
Do you know what? There's no excuse for hitting a man when he's down. So what Ditchy's got to do there, mate, I'm not going to call Ditchy because I get on with all the lads, so I'm not going to put no one down. But Ditchy's basically, for me, he owns it. At the end of the day, he's pissed off. His emotions are high. They've slagged each other in the conferences, downed each other for 2 years. The fight's come about. His emotions has got the better of him. Just own it. There's no excuse of this and that, and I'm not a fighter. Bollocks. Everyone's got 2 hands. Everyone's got 2 legs. Swing and punch. That's it. Or swing and kick. What Ditchy should just own it. Throw his hands up. He done wrong. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, it's a conference. He's done Ditchy for years on his fucking social media platform. Now, what you've got to remember is you can't. I'd be like. Lazar said to me, I was on the phone to him, he was getting a bit cheeky on the phone afterwards and that, and I just laughed him off and he said, the internet wins. I said, well, sure it does, because you've domed everyone behind the internet for the past 2 years, and when you've stepped out the internet, you got shut up on the internet. You got cracked on the internet. The internet does win that. All I'm saying is karma bites you in the ass.
What you put out,
people, you get back.
Exactly.
You can't come up here, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to do this. I mean, look, if you get set up in Manchester, if it was off a Manchester kid in our town, I understand, and the kid looked like we set him up. Do you understand what I mean? Ben Hatchett's new to Manchester, like him. Why are we going to set you up, mate? You're not worth setting up. They're saying now what I've had to go through in terms of justifying put videos out there for this fucking earthworm in fucking London isn't worth 3D Fight Club. Do you understand what I mean? We've not benefited from it. We've not made no money from it. What's it done for 3D Fight Club? Just give us bad press.
Yeah, how have obviously you would have come together as a team, like put a plan together how you're going to go forward from this, because it, like you see,
the fight card still stands. We've got some screamers, we've got some top fighters on there. You know what we're aiming for. We've still got some awesome fights on there. Now what we've got is Liam Ditchy is still going to fight on the card. He's going to have to fight on the card. So whether it's Earthworm, if he's got the balls to come out, which you know he can't be scared of that. I mean, look. You can't whinge off getting a slap and a fucking crack on the chin when you're going into a bare knuckle fight in a 12-foot ring on probably one of the biggest platforms that the UK's seen at this moment in time. You
would want to get your hands back on him. Simple.
Well, what's took us back as a team is the way he's behaved, because if that was me, but he might be saying that because I've had fights. I used to be a fighting man. But even I know people ain't fighting man if you steal it on them. They've got that platform and they think, right, instead of using our name for views, right, Dean and Dougie, it was our promotion, and Ditchy this, forget that. Come and use our name for the right reasons. Use the platform. What's happened to Lazar? His worth's gone up in the fight. So if he's got a business brain or any kind of brain, forget the YouTube fucking idiots. Take the fight, make your purse go higher, which your purse is a lot higher. The fight's in demand, and take it. You know what I mean? And take it. You know, let his ego get the better of him. So don't think because he's gone back to London calling us that we're going to have an issue with him, because that's we understand it. That's all promoters are going to get slagged off. If that's the case. All he's done by slagging us is made his fight sell more and sell more. So he's promoted himself anyway. Do you know what I mean? Listen,
building organically.
It's building organically. So obviously moving forward, we've made no changes moving forward because we had everything planned moving forward. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
We've got the proper press conference. Obviously that was a warm up to get out there to let you know, to get the hype in and all
just
that.
Just a feeler.
Just a feel. We've got the weigh-in. You know, we've got Roman security that do all. It's Frank Warren's nephew. They do all the security for Frank Warren's boxing shows. We've had them from the get-go. He does all our security. So we've not had to change anything moving forward. But obviously the only thing that's happened now is that what we've had to learn at the same time is Liam Ditchy He's a bit of a street kid, gone from the streets and out of jail, and he's gone to he's working, he's built up his own platform and so forth. Then you've got the likes of Ben Hatchett, in and out the system a little bit. He's a bit of a street kid. He understands it. Then you've got the likes of Lazar. I don't know what the fuck he is, but to get wrapped on the chin and behave like a fucking faggot, like, it don't make no sense. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense for me. What I was took back about how he's reacted, he should have been on the phone to me at Dean, fuck that, the fight's on. Let's get it happen.
100%. That's what 100%. I was expecting. That's what I would have expected that, because if you're gonna get slapped and in front of your own people and different people, and if he's got that type of ego, you would want to put hands on that man. That's 100%.
100%. But then you got to remember now is that for me, Ben Hatchett wouldn't be the issue for me in that case. His issue should be Liam Ditchy for obviously giving him the fucking clout. But then everyone's giving Ditchy bad press. It was out of order. Yeah, I agree. It's coming from me. Remember 3D Fight Club's ass, and not just me, on behalf of the whole of the 3D Fight Club team. It was out of order from both men. I'm not going to dispute that at all. But I'm not disputing that whatsoever. But like I said, the energy you put out, you're going to get back. Who used to say that? Like the videos he put out before they come there, Ben Hatchett and Liam Ditchy must have seen them videos to come in there and have the backup with him. Do you understand what I mean? But all I'm saying is, if you're going to put it out, be able to back it up. You're in a 12-foot ring, ready to talking about you ready to punch your guy's face off and go to war with him and all that, and you're going home now, saying you're going to phone police, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. There's our man up, mate. Fuck me. At the end of the day, you're a grown-ass man. Act like a man. It's like you're acting like a boy that wants loads of attention. You're going to get your views on YouTube regardless. There's no point messaging Liam Ditchy. I'm on 16,000 subs now. For what, mate? At the end of the day, 16,000 subs for what? Getting chinned and made look like a fool. No, do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Look, I've had no retaliation off anyone in Camden. You know why? Because they won't back his actions. Like the way he's gone down there. Yeah. No one's giving me no stick. Yeah, they're not backing his actions. Come up here as a fighter, leave as a roadman, go back to Camden as a policeman. It ain't gonna work. If he turned around and said, right, the fight's on, taking the fight, then I'd expect stick from his neck of the woods then, because he's standing on. Do you know what I mean? Now, if he uses his head proper, look, he's got a criminal record, right? So we can't go for criminal injuries off Ben Hatchett. Ben Hatchett done not wrong. For that, it's hyped for the fight. It's a press conference. He can't do 3D Fight Club because he come on his own accord. We didn't force him to come. They wasn't in the contract agreement with us. We didn't do anything. To go legal on us, it's going to cost him a lot of money. He's not going to win. So if he wants to get proper payday out of it, all he has to do is come to the platform
and fight,
sit down and fight, sign his contracts with his figures on it, and get the fight on. The only thing I can think of is if he's felt the rap off Ben Hatchett and he don't want it. Realistically, do you know what I mean? And that's what I really think it is. But even when I said on the year, I put a video out there the next day. I don't know if it was the next day or the day after. And I put a video out there and said, if anyone's got a problem, come and see me. I've got a platform. If you've got a problem, come and see me direct and come and see me on my platform. It's not an issue. No one seemed to reply because no one had a problem, because he's full of shit. I mean, why are we going to risk building up 3D Fight Club? Because you know yourself, you've seen it yourself. We've built it up. It's going to be a big platform, and we're not.
It's going to be big.
We're putting into it. It's going to be big, right? Why are we going to risk that for some fucking earthworm that just about comes out of London? I mean, I wouldn't mind if it's a BKB champion, like it's a Jimmy Sweeney, or it's a proper,
it's a proper BKB fighter,
a proper big hitter. Then I can kind of right. We need to reason with this guy, but him, he's a fucking no one. I don't even know. He's not even. He phoned me one day and said that he asked me how does he need to train for the fight. He went, what do we need to do to train for this fight? I said, just go and get a PT, get a bit of pad work done, a bit of boxing coaching, and then next minute he's thinking like he's the A side. You're not the A side, mate. The people on the card of the A side are the proper fighters that are training hard, not just coming just to sort out a YouTube beef. Do you understand what I mean? The A side, we've got elite athletes on there that are training out every single day on this card. It's an 11 fight card.
Jonathan Ronan Royal. I'm looking forward to his fight. Really looking forward to his fight.
Him and Danny Deville's going to be a screamer. That's going to be a screamer,
banger, mate.
That's going to be a banger.
We were meant to have Jonathan Ronan Royal because I used to do bits for Spartan beat.
Right, yes.
We were meant to have him, and I was really looking forward to seeing him fight. Didn't get the same fight, but I'm glad we're going to get to see him and Deval get the swing bangs, because it's going to be good.
Do you know before Deval it was meant to be Johnny Royal, Danny Christie? I don't know if you know that was the fight.
Wow.
That was the fight. But because obviously Danny with his restraining order and whatever else, I don't want to get into it on air, but it's not happened. So hopefully on 3D Fight Club 2, the winner of Deval and Johnny Royal they're going to hopefully. DC's going to come down, take a look, see what he thinks, and I'm going to try and make that fight. That'll be a screamer.
That'll be a fucking banger, that, mate. That'll be a screamer.
that's going to be a screamer. But then we've got the likes of, like, you know, even on the card here, man, we've got, you know, we've got James Clary, who's the Irish silver medalist, national champion, amateur against Hayden Sheriff. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, we've got Scottish amateur national silver medalist on there. We've got BKB fighters. We've got bare knuckle MMA fighters, and you know we've got, you know, the card's not been made to look a joke just because of what we've had the conference. Mm-hmm. But what you've got to remember is bad press, good press. It's all press. It all works wonders.
1,000,000%.
You know what I mean? So what Lazar's got to realise, even if Lazar doesn't fight on the card, he's just give us bad press, which people are going to tune in anyway to see.
Exactly.
So he might as well follow it through and get paid. I don't know what his issue is. At least he can buy a new jumping off from JD Sports, one that fits him. You know what I mean? But no, I mean, you've got to be honest. You've got to be realistic about it. I mean, he asked me if he could top the bill in with Liam Ditchy, and I said, "How can you top the bill on a BKB show, right? When I've got proper fighters that do this for a living,
yeah,
like Johnny Royal and all these lads, they train hard.
Of course they do, man. Every day.
Exactly. All these fighters are training hard after work. They're grinding hard. How am I meant to turn around to these and go, "Oh, I've got 2 guys that I've never fought before. I've got YouTube platforms topping the bill."
Because he's got 16,000 subscribers. That's why he.
No, but do you understand what I mean? No, for me,
yeah,
I don't care how many subscribers you've got, how many views you've got. I'm not going to have YouTubers topping the bill. And that's one thing I say about Ditchy. Ditchy even said, Dino, I don't want to disrespect any fighters on there because I'm not a boxer, I'm not a bare knuckle fighter. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, I understand. He went, you know, I don't want to disrespect him on there. And I said, you know what, fair play to him, he come correct. Lazar watching there, yeah, and the way he's going on that, and I'm thinking, mate, you know, the only thing I wish Johnny Royal had was what Lazar had, that bit of spark just to boost that little edge. Because one thing Lazar, he's got spirit for the room, you know what I mean? He has. But like I said, touching on the conference there, when he was in there, even when he got cracked, he stood up and smiled. And I don't know, he's a strange kind of character, but for me, I don't think the way he's carried on, I don't think he was going to go through with the fight anyway.
That's your overriding feeling.
I think he just come for his views himself, to be honest. He was going to pull out at a later date. But lucky enough, we always have a plan B, which you have to in this game.
Yeah, most definitely, 100%. Obviously, you've said you had, obviously, the main event was meant to be Danny and Johnny. So, yeah. Obviously, you have got plans mapped out going forward. Where do you envision 3D Fight Club going from?
Well, see what it is. To be fair, I've got plans mapped out for pretty much every fighter on the card. Because we're doing it, it's winner stays on. So we've got winner stays on titles. We've got 4 title shots, and then what we're going to do is, so it is winner stays on. But then we're going to do the fighters that are, even if we're saying it's winner stays on, but if we get a top fight, it's a scream, and both fighters give a top account of themselves, you know, we do have to keep both fighters on. We're going to have to. If you give a good account of yourself, if you go in there and you're not giving a good account of yourself, mate, I'm sorry, mate, but you got to go.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, what we're going to do is, obviously, we're just going to 3D Fight Club 1. Manchester, 3D Fight Club 2, maybe Manchester. We was open for Glasgow, but we're just going to see it in a minute. And hopefully, if we build the momentum that we're building, what we believe we're going to build, we're going to try and do 3D Fight Club 3 at the MEN.
Wow.
At the end of the year, we have got the interest we've got from abroad as well, you know. But you got to remember as well, I was on the K1 scene for a while, you know what I mean, over the years. I fought in Holland. I trained in Holland.
I was going to delve into that actually, because I've read up about you and I've seen some of your fights. And what I know you as a traveling man, and what was it? Because traveling men traditionally the fight with their hands. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what it was? So going back for me now, I don't know if you know a man called Benny Lynch from Glasgow. He was the first Scottish champion a long time ago. Well, he was my great-grandfather. So my father's side, I come down from a generation of fighters.
Right.
And then on my mother's side, with the Irish traveller side, my great-grandfather was a man called Dave Ward. Now, he was like the king of the travellers. There's documentaries on him and so forth. He's from Ireland. And then, obviously, I had his nephew, which was my mum's first cousin, a man called Dave Ward from Manchester, who sparred Alan Minter.
Wow.
And going back, so I've come from a generation of fighters on both sides. Now, I had 67 amateur fights. I lost 3 as an amateur. I had 64 wins.
Wow.
I was out for a while, like you do, and then I turned professional, got my professional boxing license. Then I went to prison. when I got out of when I was in prison, I met a guy called Andy Webb from Liverpool. He's doing a long time in prison now, but he's a good friend of mine, really good friend of mine. And he was the European, no, British K1 champion.
Nice.
He used to fight like 62, 66 kilos. Honestly, mate, small, tough fella, but tough as they come, you know what I mean?
Tough as teak.
So when we was in open jail, finishing off our jail night, we both used to spar and get the flip-flops out like you do and do the pads and that. And it was great. And he said, come down to the K1 gym and have a bit of K1. So I went down there, and to be fair, I just love getting a good hiding. But because I was all hands, when I went in there, I was getting kicked all over the place, but I enjoyed it. The training was that intense. And you know yourself, when you get it turns you on, you know, you live for it. And that's what put me onto the K1. And what I found with K1, it was a lot easier to fight now because I'd come from having high hopes, because I trained at the Champs Camp in Manchester.
Nice.
So when I was there, I was under Enzo Bingham. Enzo Bingham fought Ronald Winky Wright for the world title.
He did. Wow.
Yeah, he was my coach. Enzo had me from a young boy all the way up to mid-20s. So when I was in there with the likes of Steve Foster Jr., Carl Thompson. I was in camp with Carl Thompson for the second Eubank fight. Mike Jones, Mike Broder. These were all my stable mates.
Wow.
So what you got to remember is when I got out now, for me to go back down the boxing route, it was like it was mission impossible. Like now, the British Boxing Board of Control a bit more lenient. Back then in like 2007, 2008, they weren't as lenient giving your boxing license out. There was just too much bullshit to get your license. I didn't want to go the unlicensed route because of the caliber of people I trained with. So I didn't want to go unlicensed boxing, but I wanted to fight. So then I just went to the K1 route, which it was easy. Basically train, turn up, medical, and you was in. That was it, you know what I mean? And then I moved around a few gyms. I had 19 K1 fights. I had one loss.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? And that loss was at the earliest start of me starting out, which, you know, I was getting used to the rigmarole and all that. But I never wanted anything out of K1. I just enjoyed fighting. Do you understand?
Oh, yeah.
But I never really used my legs. So I know what you're saying about with being a traveller, you use your hands more. I never really used my legs. I was just constantly, I'd use my legs and so forth. But what I kind of realised is for me is that it was just to keep active really. Do you know what I mean? Now I went training at Mike's gym in Holland. Went over there a few times. I went over to Thailand training, and that was pretty much it really. That's kind of how it come about. And then, as you know, you get older and you just the time in the gym and so forth, and put it in. And with myself, if I'm only training 2 days a week, I won't entertain it. If I can't get in every day and do what I need to do, I won't train them. You know, if I can't do it, I won't do it half-hearted. You know what I mean? I won't even wait. All in. If I'm going to train on a bag half-hearted, I might as well come out and let a young guy who's more hungry for it use that bag rather than me use that bag. That's my attitude. You know what I mean? Unless someone wants a challenge, unless there's a challenge there, then, you know, I'll train full throttle and that's me. And, you know, I'll do what I need to do. But if there's no challenge, you can't.
Could you ever see you fighting on one of your cards?
Of course you can, 100%. Like I said, the first promotion here, because it's the first promotion, we've got to put all the time and all the effort in the first promotion. But moving on, when we get like the team in place and everyone's got like the job roles and stuff like that, I'm going to 100% fight on my card. I'm going to top the bills. But like you say, I called out Decker, didn't I? That wasn't a joke call out. That was as real as it got. If he came out, he was getting smacked up, and that was that. There's no two ways about it. So 100%, you'll see me fighting one of my cards without a shadow of a doubt. Do you know what I mean? But it might not be the first or second card. Like you say, we've got to put the team in place, pal. Going back to that, I've been asked this question a few times. So we've only got a team of 5 members. You know what I mean? It was a team of 3, and we've managed to get 2 more. Obviously, we've trusted people. We can't just bring anyone to the platform.
No, that's
close friends of ours, though. You know that we've brought in who are serving the purpose.
Yeah.
So at the minute, there's only 5 of us. If I'm training for the fight and self-promoting and everything else, who's going to do the matchmaking? Because I'm the match. That's why everyone sees me all over the YouTube. I do the matchmaking. I draw the fighters and I match them up.
Can I just touch on that as well? Because matchmaking, that
is a full-time job.
It's so hard. It's so hard because you've got a duty of level of care. Because you can't, like, for the people who don't know the insides of promoting, and some of these people you might not have seen proper footage. You can't go sticking any Tom, Dick, and Harry against Tom, Dick, and Harry. You have to have it equal. It doesn't work.
You've got to have an equal balance. Now, I know that on this card, I've matchmade some of the fights. I've matchmade them, and I know there's some blaggers on there that blag me that they're better than what they are. Not a problem for me. I can only go off what you told me and what you show me. And obviously, so I do the matchmaking. So when we're doing the matchmaking now, that's why people see me on the internet a lot more than others. Why ain't he doing this? Why ain't he doing that? My job as a matchmaker, I've got to put my face out there, and I have to be out there with the fighters. I have to confirm the fights. I have to put these videos out there. Now, what's happening now? If I'm doing the matchmaking and I'm not on these fighters, if my face isn't there, I forgot about. Do you understand?
Yeah,
what I mean?
understand that completely.
Understand. So if you put some of the YouTuber fights to one side and look at the actual card that I've put together, you'll see there's going to be some screamers of a fight on that card. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now what we've kind of done is, then obviously, each member of the team has a different part what they're playing. But the matchmaking's a full-time job, because for every fight I've got to have a backup. So for each fight, I need 4 fighters for every one fight, realistically, because I need a backup. But I've got a route. So I've done my card on 3D Fight Club 1. I've got a route for all the fighters. So they stay on, I've got a plan for them all. It's not as if they're just fighting them like on an unlicensed show and they've got no direction.
Like a story.
We've got a journey for these fighters, and we've got a pathway, and that's why we've got so many at certain weights. So obviously there's a next contender and so forth. You know what I mean? And what 100%. We're going to be doing is, we've got 3 fights on there where they're all between the 13, 14 stone weight limit. Then we've got Johnny Ryle, Danny DeVille. Then we've got Mick Hard, Aaron Jones. And then we've got 2 other lads at that weight as well. So now I know that I can fluctuate between the card for 3D Fight Club 2. Get a good screamer on, You've got to plan your card out like that. You can't just put fights together with no direction.
Yeah, 100%.
And then obviously, we've got the 11 to 12 stone fighters as well. Do you know what I mean? And so forth. And that's why I've sanctioned a few title belts on there. But what you've got to remember as well at the same time now is that if I get the matchmaking wrong and it's one-way traffic and I put a lad in there and he gets a really bad injury, that's down to me. Do you understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and that's why I'm saying, you've got to make your fights. Even, like I say, I've been to a lot of these 3D BKB shows now. Some of the matchmaking's poor. You know what I mean? Some of it's really poor.
I've been and witnessed and seen some of it myself, and it's very poor.
Like I say, I'm not going to say mine's going to be perfect, because it's down to your fighters on the night as well. I'm not going to say that, but I mean, some of the shows I've looked at them, and I know it's BKB, but you get some of the lads, they're swinging from the hips, and they're coming for the street fight. I don't really want that. I want to see skills. I want to see skill bouts, and guys working on the shots, thinking, moving on the ring, using the ring craft. Do you understand what I mean? I want to see him using a bit.
1,000,000%. Oh, totally agree and totally understand what you're saying. Do you know, obviously, with yours and Dougie's like contacts, family? Yeah. Obviously, traditionally, it's in years to fight. It'll be other travelers ready to fight on your show, or are they just ready to just keep it for family pride only?
Now, what we've done is we've got a cousin of ours coming from Ireland. He's fighting on the show, James Clara. He's the Irish silver medalist, national champion, and he's fighting Aidan Sheriff for the WSO title. Now he's on there. Now we've got my other cousin Michael Sweeney. He was with MTK. I don't know if you Storm. You just call him Storm. He's a cousin of mine. He was doing commentary on our show. But what we've done is we didn't want to make it. We didn't want to make it kind of biased, because obviously, listen, we've got a lot of cousins, as being travellers, England and Ireland. And we could get loads of cousins to fill up the full card. So we could have got, like, say, all the country fellas for all our family, but then it becomes a biased card.
Yes, I understand that.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because it's his cousins. So we had a lot of our cousins message us at the same time. I want on the card, we'll fight. We said, no, we don't want that. We want to keep it. But you got to remember, you've got to keep it fair.
Mm-hmm. I understand that.
Do you understand what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong, if we've got a family dispute and they want to sort it out on the platform, we're not going to treat them no different than we're treating one of our mates who are fighting on there. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I mean? So just because you're my cousin, you'll get treated the exact same as one of the YouTuber fights or one of the serious fights or one of the street beefs on there. You'll get treated the exact same. But at the same time, what you got to do is as well, if we have loads of travellers on there, and that's when they start arguing and kicking off in the crowd and stuff like that, because it does happen in them places, family or not. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to remember there, we want to keep it fair and keep it neutral. And because we get the kind of like the bad press and the bad reputation as it is, we want to eliminate ourselves from that. Yeah. Because automatically, it's just how people look at us. You know what I mean?
I've got massive respect for the travellers, and I'm not just saying this. I've always had massive respect. Like, this is how I first stumbled across BKB. Like traveling, like men having fights, fighting for family honor. This is how, like, and this is why I was just thinking, two traveling men who are doing this, it's going to succeed. It can't 100%. Fail. It cannot fail.
But like you're saying, you know, moving further on down the line, once we start getting an establishment and we get known to be putting on good shows and people know that it's a good night when they come down there, and obviously we will, you know, there will be a lot more traveller kids that can fight on the card because we're not going to treat them our own no different than anyone else.
Yeah.
But at the minute we've got to open it for everyone's eyes to see what it's about. Do you understand what I mean?
Show them who 3D Fight Club really is.
Show them what it really is, and that's like you're saying, and it's like, for example, with that Lazar one there, you know, I don't understand how, going back to him, our YouTuber is going to try and sabotage a fight promotion. It's never going to work, mate. It's different if it was a big hitter that we've got on there that went back and didn't get treated fair, then we'd have to worry. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that.
Then we've kind of got to worry there. But yeah, you know, what you got to remember as well at the same time there is we eventually we've got an 11 fight card for the first show. We could have gone up to a 15 fight card. But what we're going to start doing is there, obviously, when we get to every 3 shows, we're going to do. So Danny Christie originally was going to fight the fucking arse. Sorry for the language. He was going to he was going to fight the Muppet for the last man standing title. So what our aim is, every 3 shows is going to be a last man standing title. So you're going to have a winner stays on who's won 1 belt, a winner stays on from another belt. So you're going to have 2 winner stays on champions that are going to fight for a last man standing title where there's no rounds and it's for the last man standing cup. Wow. That's going to be every 3 shows. So we have got big plans moving forward.
That's very different to what all the other BKB promoters are doing. That's very different. That's exciting, 100%. Actually. It's exciting, man.
What you got to remember is, I think a world title shot's 7 2-minute rounds. So our world title shot is going to be the last man standing. And we'll look at them. We're going to we've got a lot of contacts in like American organisations, a European organisation as well. When we start sanctioning this last man standing title, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want a challenge for that. Do you know what I mean? So what we're going to do is now there's going to be 2 of our champions that are going to fight for the last man standing title. Then when they win the last man standing title, then that's when we're going to challenge, bring interest in from another organisation, whether it's in the UK or abroad.
So,
do you know what I mean?
If it's like basically if it's in America, transatlantic title type thing.
Yeah. But it's got to be last man standing, which is the same as which is no rounds. You know what I mean? And it's just till the last man's kind of standing. Obviously, it's still be supervised. You're gonna have ring doctors. You'll have everything there. I mean, you're still gonna have someone. They might be able to look over if you've got a really serious cut and stop the fight. That can happen, but it's still last man standing.
It just takes it back to the way they used to do it in the 1700s. Do you know what I mean?
1700s, but it's in a 12-foot ring.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Do you know what I mean?
It's exciting stuff. Now that you've elaborated on that, because I didn't know about that. I'm excited about it. Really excited about that. But
we can't do that every show because you've got to give the fighters time to win the winner stays on titles and stuff and prove themselves. I mean, and then obviously anyone will have the balls because it's on a big platform. I'll step up for the winner stays on title, but you've got to be, that winner stays on title is going to be one of them when everyone tunes in the seats to watch. Do you understand what I mean? You got to remember, if you want to put it down to that, you've seen Danny Christie more or less fight like winner stays on kind of fight when we put that fight on there. So that's what. That's what you're going to expect from that. Do you know what I mean? Apart from it's going to be ring doctors and people there. Now, now what you've got to look at is if there was doctors at Danny Christie's fight, with what happened to the arsehole on the top of his head, that fight would have been stopped in favour of Danny Christie and he would have been the last man standing champion kind of thing. So you've got your pluses, the plus points on that. But then you're going to see really the real fighters really are, aren't you? Because you're going to, if you are the world champion or you are this from another organisation and you've got that last man standing in front of you, you're going to see what real fighters are who are going to take that. Do you know what I mean?
What's in you?
What's in you? Now, I know I've got 6 fighters on my card that I know would definitely fight for that. Do you know what I mean? We've already spoke about this prior to that moving forward. Now, we've got to remember when we do the last man standing title, we're going to have one at one weight, one at another weight, and one at another weight. So it's going to be 3 of them in one night, which is going to be awesome. But we can't do that every show because you end up with no fighters.
Are you planning to bring it like across to the UK? Because obviously you said you had a goal to get to the MEN arena. So are you planning to bring it to different places in the UK?
Well, the first plan was going to be Manchester, Glasgow, Cardiff. It still could be Manchester, Glasgow, Cardiff. But then what we said is if we can pack out the MEN, then obviously we've got bigger chance of a bigger success moving it to Glasgow. Now we've done the MEN. because to pack out the MEM, we're probably going to have half of Glasgow there and half of Wales and, you know, up the northeast, up, you know, we're going to have everyone there. Then we can take it on the road. We just got to get that capacity of filling out the stadium first. Then we can take it on the road. But after Manchester, we are going to be doing Glasgow, and then we're going to be doing Cardiff. That's the order so far. But then we're going to be moving around with it.
So
I just don't see the point. I just don't see the point in moving it around in a venue that's going to only hold 3,000 people. I mean, you know, when our first show, we've sold 4,000 tickets just on the first show. It's not going to make sense to travel around and go to a smaller venue. No, we've not sold that many just yet, but I'm saying that's what we're hoping to sell. If we sell that capacity
projected,
out,
so
yeah, why are we going to go to the likes of Glasgow to a 2,000 seated venue? It doesn't make sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Why go backwards when you can go forwards?
Go forward, yeah.
So obviously, how have you found, like, you've said you're going to fight on one of your shows, but how have you found the transition from fighter to promoter? How have you found that?
Do you know what? For me, it's pretty much because I've fought in a lot of shows. You know, enough shows to know, and I've been around like a few friends and that kind of who do the unlicensed stuff and that. So for me, it was kind of what I didn't realize how much of a full-time job it is though. So obviously, I've got to do in the daytime. You know, I mean, I've got a roofing company, so I'm out and about with the lads there. Then I'm in the gym myself, but I'm constantly on the phone. Even my missus is saying to me, "Do you ever put that fucking phone down?" As soon as it goes, I'm like, "No, you got to make sure." I found the transition. It's all right. It's just, but like I say, anyone who knows about matchmaking, it is a full-time job because you get fighters that are pulling out and so forth. It is a full-time job, but more for me, I like to be hands-on. Now, what I'm saying to the lads is I speak to certain lads every other day. I kind of rotate the phone calls. I don't feel like I'm on the cases and that. But I only expect from the lads what I'd put in. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm a strong believer of practice what you preach.
100%.
Now, like I say, I was trained in the champs camp with Enza Bingham and them guys, and they didn't hold no prisoners. You know what I mean? Now, for me, realistically, you can't treat everyone because the way I was treated in a boxing gym was like abuse when we was growing up. It was tough. You know what I mean? Speak with Danny C, he'll tell you the same. It didn't hold back. So you can't really start putting on a lot of these guys now because a lot of them are like, you know, the grown men. We learn that from a young age. So politely, I put it on in a polite manner. Train. When we get the contracts out there, it's going to be in the contracts that they have to train. If they're not training, they're not fighting. They're gone. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we're going to have a clause on there where they'll be getting fined and so forth. And the reason I'm saying that is because look, if you're one punch away in boxing with a glove on from ending your career, you're less than one punch away in a bare knuckle fight to end your career. So for me, you can't cut no corners going in a 12-foot ring, going hand-to-hand combat. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be on your A game.
100%.
I mean, you know yourself, you've probably trained or, you know, you was part of Spartans. You know yourself, even just to hold your hands up when you're getting rained on with punches. It's not fucking easy. Do you understand what I mean?
It's not nice. It's not. It's
not
very uncomfortable. I've done it the correct way. I've done it the wrong way. I've won the right way. I've lost the wrong way. And you know what? What I found when I was working with a different company in BKB is the stigmata is that they're just street fighters. You know, they're just people who come off the street and just stick them in. And I think that's a very, very, very good point in the contract where you state that they must train because it brings professionalism, does it?
It brings class. I mean, if I'm buying a pay-per-view, if I'm a YouTuber, I'm buying a pay-per-view to watch the YouTuber fights, and I get that, you know what I mean? If I'm a fighting man or a guy that likes the sport, I don't want to see people because I can go to the pub and watch that on a Friday night. Mm-hmm. I want to see people that can stand and have a go. And it's like I've said to the YouTubers on the card, you're getting no treat. Just because you're a YouTuber, you're getting no treated any different than you are as a fighter. I've had YouTubers, can I top the bill? Can I be here? You're going on the card where your ass is getting put. It's as simple as that. You're no different from the fighter. You know what I mean? Don't think because you're YouTuber and you've got a bigger platform, you're going to get treated any different. Not a fucking so. You know, you've called for a fight. I'm not going to get someone that you can punch his face off. I'm going to get you even the match where it's going to be a fight. Do you understand what I mean?
100%.
But one thing I can say is the lads that have got the YouTube platforms, you know, I get to take me out to every single one of them because every one of them are putting the work in. They are putting the work in. I can't ask for nothing else. Every one of them. But these were the conversations I had with some of them beforehand. You know, you're getting treated no different. Now, do you remember when Eddie put KSI Logan and Jake Paul on his show? He made him get a boxing license and didn't treat him as YouTubers. He treated them the exact same as fighters. And that's kind of where we've got. And that's why I'm trying to say, going back to that situation at the conference the other day, I don't understand why, because it's earthworm, why it's any different from a fighter. Because if that was 2 fighters doing it, this wouldn't be getting spoke about now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I mean?
I believe it's just because he's came up, but from a long distance, and it's. I don't know. I wasn't there. I've just seen the footage. But I did see the videos that he put out in the morning. You can't go to the place putting that much energy out, expecting no energy back.
Is that but Ben Hatchett came from Hastings? On the train with his
100%.
pregnant girlfriend. Do you understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, now we're live and we're on air. The door's still open if he wants to take the fight. I'm going to keep the door open for him till Friday this week.
Mm-hmm.
Let him get back to me. If he wants to fight, we can sit down, talk his figures, and we can go straight from there. It's not a problem at all. But he's not going to, with him not fighting doesn't change anything. The card still stays the same anyway, pretty much, you know what I mean? If anything, we've got more interest off different fighters now that want to be part of it.
Oh,
they want to be part of the action. Are you coming down to the show? Are you going to get down or are you going to get a pay-per-view? Or
I'm gonna try and get down. I really, really want to come down. I want to have a feel of it.
It's going to be a scream. Honestly, when you see the venue and you see the way, I don't want to say too much on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because obviously, I've got a surprise for all the fighters, but the platform they're coming out in, the way it's designed with the big screens. Listen, it's
production looks good.
The production's going to be phenomenal. What you've got to remember as well, the pay-per-view for the changing rooms, on the ring walk, in the ring to the fight, and that's per fighter. Do you understand what I mean? That's per fighter. Normally you get a pay-per-view card, you only go to see the title shots, don't you?
Yeah.
We're doing that per fighter because, like you're saying, what I've noticed as well, a lot of the BKB lad fighters, they're not getting looked. Don't get looked after.
Mm-hmm.
They're not getting a look. They're fighting in shit venues. I've been to a few shows. They're fighting in small ass shows. There's guys hanging on the ropes around the ring. Fucking, it's not. The commentary's poor. Do you know what I mean? I mean, the best commentator is one of my mates at the minute, Robin Reid. He's for the BKB.
Yeah, Robin Reid.
He's one of my good pals, Robin. Robin's probably one of the best fucking commentators out there. If you don't hear his voice, the commentary's poor. Do you know what I mean?
He knows what he's talking about. Him and Glenn McCrory. Do you know what I'm saying? Both former world champions.
They know exactly what they're talking about. But if you take them two out of the equation, and it's poor the way the fighters are getting. I mean, we went to a show not long ago. I'm not going to say what show it was, but you've got both sets of fighters in the same fucking changing rooms. What the fuck? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's just
nah.
It just doesn't. It just
not
doesn't
gonna
work.
happen.
It's not gonna happen. And the ring walks were poor. Do you know what I mean? And even the rings that were in there, mate, the ropes on the rings are worse than draped curtains. You know what I mean? It's fucking unreal. God. But what we've done is we've put on, we could have done the hay bales and stuff like that, but it does what we're saying in a 12-foot ring. If we've got amateur boxers now, which we've got a few of them on the card, making their bare knuckle debut, they've danced in a 12-foot ring for ever how long as an amateur. So you're going to see the skills in there as an amateur fighter. Bare knuckle. You're gonna see him setting up traps. You're gonna see him leaning on the ropes, sitting off the ropes, moving around the ring and using the ring craft. And that's why we wanted to target mainly. And obviously we've got BKB lads, but we wanted to target amateurs that are debuting on our show. So we want to get them too used to fighting at a high standard.
Yes.
To fight at a high standard, to get in that ring, to feel at home. They can get their hands flowing, they can start slipping, moving, rolling shots, and they're fighting like proper fighters. If you look at some of the BKB fighters that are coming straight into BKB, they haven't really got them skills, apart from this one guy there I really like a lot. He's a pal of mine, he's Tony Meehan.
Tony
Meehan.
Good lad, Tony.
Tony's come up the hard way, mate, and he's fucking good, and he's doing well for himself. Do you know what I mean? Doing really well. I think a few more tweaks to his game, Tony there, and he'll be a force in a few more years to be reckoned with.
100%. I've always told him, get some one-to-ones in, man, Tony. Stop training yourself. Get some lessons in.
And that's why I like him, because he's trained himself. If he came to Manchester, I'd love at least 6 months with him. With Tony there. Tony, come and see me, mate. You know what I mean? I'd love 6 months with Tony there, because he's done everything himself.
Mm-hmm.
And
you know what I mean? He's built a brand and a market. He's the marketing master. That's what my nickname is for him. Do you know what I mean?
But you see what you got to remember though. A lot of the BKB lads, they don't look as good as what Tony looks, and his people that have been in the game a lot longer. So going back to what I was saying, if I can get my own fighters debuting on our show, coming out the amateurs, who's got that bit of ring quality, and then they're going to look good in that. So imagine they're going to look in the 12-foot ring when they know how to move around the 12-foot ring, bare knuckles, sitting on shots. And do you know what I mean? You want to see the skills, don't you? You know, realistically.
100%. Like you said, like you elaborated earlier on in the show, some are swinging from their ankles. They're just...
Yeah. It just looks poor. It just looks poor, and that's why we're saying we want to see training clips as well. So when we do obviously on the website, we're going to have the all the fighters' stats coming from MMA, whatever they've come from. We're going to have training reels of them as well. And if I look at their training reels, then they start looking like they're lapsing in the game in terms of not putting the effort in. I'm going to be on their case, and listen, it could be fucking one of the biggest fights we've got on the card. If you're not pulling your weight, I'll pull the fight. It's not a problem. That's my job as a matchmaker and a promoter.
Damn right. I would. Are you gonna ask for long clips? Are you going? Short minute, 2-minute clips.
No, clips. Well, like I say, I've got. We've got a friend of mine that's going to go around, and he's going to be doing he's going to be doing a few interviews and stuff, and he's going to be in the gyms. That's what his job is to do, as well as my own. Come there. So when the fighters, when I think they should be peaking, I'm going to be going out to the gyms and watching what these guys are doing. 3 weeks off fight time. That's when they should be peaking.
Yeah,
ready to slow down. So that's when I'll be going around and doing my own visits myself. And boom, I want to see these guys and see what they're about. But it's not because I want to see them because I don't trust them or anything like that. I want to see what their ability is to make sure I've got the matchmaking right. I can go and watch one lad in the gym on Monday. I go and see his opponent on Tuesday. You know, I think I've got this matchmaking a bit wrong here. Or do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more make sure I'm doing my job proper as well at the same time.
Especially when from your stock, the people who you've trained with, the people who you've been surrounded with, you've got to be spot on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because anything below that, you're going to get criticism off your fellow peers.
But it's not only that. If we move on to 3D Fight Club 2, and I don't fight for them because they stitched them up. Do you understand what I mean? And it's not going to wash. Well, like I said, the opinion of a sheep don't matter, but when you've got an opinion of a lion, mate, it means something. So Lazar's a sheep, like I said, but if it was someone like a BKB fighter and he's slandering it like that, then the alarm bells are ringing. So that's why I've got to make sure I'm doing my job proper at the same time. You know what I mean?
Hopefully he does change his mind because he's going to make some money out of it.
Yeah, well, like I said there, man, and DC is going to be coming down to the show. He said he's going to come down with his missus and that, which it'll be nice to have him there. I'm going to sit down and hopefully we'll get a good conversation going there because DC lives for it, doesn't he?
He is the real deal, mate. He is the real deal.
Well, we spoke about some stuff and so forth, and like we said there, man, and that'd be for me. 3D Fight Club 2, you're not going to get a screamer better than the winner of Johnny Raw, Danny DeVille fighting, obviously, DC, do you know what I mean? That's moving forward on that plan, and we've got plans as well. So we've got 2 fights underneath. I'm not going to say who the fights are, but the winner of one's going to fight the winner of one. That's going to be a screamer as well.
Keep them hanging here.
The two people I think are going to be the winners, which I think, well, you never know though, because they've not got easy fights. I'm not going to say there's no easy. Like I said, there's no easy fights on there realistically. You know what I mean? And
that's just off your own thinking.
Yeah, we've got a couple of fights further down where the guys are a bit raw. So I am expecting A-Bale fights kind of thing, but it's still going to be screamers. You know what I mean? None of them are going to lie down. And all I want is to train hard and give a good account for himself. So it'll be a screamer. But like I said, if DC comes down and we could talk some numbers there for him, and if he wants it, he wants it. You know what I mean? But to be fair, we can't not give DC the opportunity because you've got to remember at the same time, he's been part of our journey, and I've always said there'll always be room for him. Whichever avenue he wants to come in at, there'll always be room for him. Do you know what I mean?
Loyalty, and it's very, very, very hard to find that these days.
Yeah, we've always, he knows that in a way. Do you know what I mean? We always said that from the get go, and like you're saying, you've got to respect someone that's willing to drive to the unknown, mate, and perform the way he did.
Long way.
I'm telling you, you can't even expect that. You know what I mean? But to be fair as well, like I said, I think what you've got to remember is it's how many wars you're willing to have, because I believe Danny DeVille and Johnny Raw is going to be a war. I think it'll be a bit of a war. You know what I mean?
I think it's going to be a banger. I really honestly do.
I think it's going to be a screamer. Then moving on from that, you've got 3D Fight Club 2, which is going to be 12 weeks after that. Do you know what I mean? So
busy man.
It's good. I mean, you've got James Clary, Aiden Sheriff. That's going to be a screamer of a fight as well. That's going to be a screamer. Do you know what I mean?
I'm definitely going to try and get down there because Mick Ord, he's actually from where Mick Ord, he's from my area. It's from my neck of the woods. So
yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, well, like I said, we've got are you there, mate?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, we've got Mick Hord, and he's going to be fighting Aaron Jones. Now, Aaron Jones is he's been on the BKB scene, the unlicensed scene, the K1 scene, MMA. He's actually a bare knuckle MMA fighter.
Right.
So he's gonna bring a lot of heat to the table as well. Do you know what I mean?
Audie is known just for having a pair of bollocks. I mean, I believe. Do you know John Hutton? Big John Hutton? Fucking
I
14.
know who he is. Yeah.
Jeez, 24. Sorry.
I said to Mick. So Mick's fighting for one of the winner stays on titles as well.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's the least I can do for him and Aaron Jones because they've both been on the circuit a long time. Do you know
100%.
what I mean? But what Mick said to me is he said he took a lot of his fights last minute.
He did.
So I said, get in camp now, Mick. Now you've got more than enough time. You know, we're not one thing. What we won't do, we won't phone last minute fighters in for the title fight. You know, we'll give you enough time. You know, we won't do that if the fight can't be made.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll give you the last minute call if you're in the gym and you're ticking over proper. Not just coming out fit just for the money or just for like that. We don't want that. You know what I mean? Because I think that's shit. My personal opinion. I've seen it in boxing. I had it with amateur fights. Do you know what I mean? I've seen it. But what I've said to him there is now he's got enough time. He said he's never had a belt. I said no, because our titles will be worth something once we get to 3D Fight Club 2 with the views and momentum again. I said now you've got enough time to fight for the winner stays on title. I said you've got more than enough time to prepare for it. I said, but remember, you're up against Aaron Jones. That's a bare knuckle MMA fight. You know, it's not an easy fight. It's not an easy fight for both men. But I believe I do believe Mick will be a different fighter with the right camp.
I hope he does.
Believe that.
Because when he had his fight in Wales, I can't quite remember how long ago that was. I was actually training him up here, and he ended up he starched the kid. He starched the Marine in the first round. He can be awkward at times, but this is just my opinion of Mick anyway. Like I'll tell Mick this to his face. Like, we're friends. Do you know what I mean? Like, he let himself go a bit. Do you know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. Got stuck in a rut, but hopefully that he's training now, that you've put it in the contract, he's doing his thing properly.
Well, do you know what he did? Mick did say that to me though. He did say he got himself caught in a bit of a rut, and I said, he said, Dean, now you give me something to focus on again.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, it's the same, you know. I said, there's a lot of people on the card, and I said, I believe in chance. Everyone needs a chance, you know what I mean, or something to wake up for. You know, I'm not going to be one of these blunt promoters. Nah, mate, I'm not giving you a chance for what? Because remember, I had to be given a second chance when I got out of prison. Do you understand what I mean? I believe in chances, and that's what I said to Mick. Now you've got your chance, take it. I mean, if Mick Hord and Aaron Jones is screaming of a fight, and you know, whichever way it goes, if it's a top fight and both give a good account of themselves, they can stay on. But obviously, only one of them is going to stay on with a belt. The other one's going to stay on. He's having to put himself back in a belt position. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I get the process. Process. So on that note, Dean, obviously, final words, you to all the other BKB promoters in the UK. What's your message to them?
The message is we're there now. We've built the platform. We're going nowhere. Yeah. And just keep an eye on us because we're coming. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, we are coming and we do get interest of a lot of people and so forth. But like you say, man, we will be challenging for some of your fighters to do cross promotions with our fighters once we've bred our own stable of fighters. Like you're saying, we've got some good people on the card. But what we want to do is we're going to have amateurs coming through on our card. So just keep an eye on us because we are there and we are going to make a noise.
Would you like to thank any of 3D Fight Club sponsors?
Not the sponsors yet, just Kev Dynamite, DM Productions, the bowlers. We want to thank bowlers as well. Obviously, they've been great with us. Yeah. First and foremost, I just want to thank all the fighters because they've done everything I've asked them to do, and obviously my team. You know what I mean, and everyone else, even you guys, and helping the exposure out there. And I also want to thank Daniel Lazar because you've given me more interest at 3D Fight Club than we've had over the past 6 months. So thanks, Daniel. If you want to take the fight's still there. If you don't want to take the fight, go back to your channel, talk our name, and get as much views as you want. I hope it all works well for you.
And Dino, honestly, lad, honestly,
take care and hope I see you down there.
Yeah, honestly, thank you so much for coming on the channel. I really appreciate it, my brother.
All right, brother, take care.
Thank you.
Good
Cheers,
evening,
man. Yeah,